Hey, we made it! A full year living in our RV on the road.
And what an amazing year it has been. We have hit 19, count them, 19 states, plus Washington, D.C., and the Bahamas.
We feel like we've been more places this year than we would have been in our entire lifetimes if we didn't decide to take this crazy step and go on this journey.
365 days, we put about 18,000 miles on our truck and about 9,000 miles on our house on wheels.
So we get the question asked all the time, what's your favorite place that you've been? And that's almost impossible to answer because we've had so many amazing experiences.
So in honor of our 1 year anniversary on the road, we thought we'd go back in time and talk about some of our favorite places, maybe not so favorite places, some of the great times and some of the not so great times. So kind of the highlights of the past year.
So let's start out with West Virginia because we had a really great time there. We house sat and then we went and got to see the Green Bank Telescope, which nerdy-wise, that was a really neat experience, although probably one of the most terrifying as well.
Yeah, remember Tom's afraid of heights? And then remember when we won that winery photo contest in North Carolina?
That was a fun experience.
Then we got to spend Christmas in Charleston area, and then we hung out with family on Jekyll Island in Georgia.
Christmas, though, was kind of gloomy.
Well, here's the novelty.
And then we went to Florida, and I think a big highlight, of course, was the cruise.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun on our Bahamas cruise.
Once we got back from the cruise, the Florida Keys were a pretty amazing experience, too. It was a completely different world down there.
Yeah, we had margaritas in Margaritaville.
Except for we had to sleep in the truck for 5 days.
Oh, and I got stung by a jellyfish pretty bad. Not fun.
And then when we got back, Bella had that tumor on her leg, so...
Yeah, thank goodness that was removed and it was nothing serious.
I think also in Florida, and probably one of our highlights across the trip, was swimming with the manatees.
Yes, if you haven't swam with the manatees, you have to. Go to Crystal River and do it. It is so worth it. And then in Florida, we just didn't realize how many springs there were.
Oh
and
yeah, Rainbow Springs.
Oh, Rainbow Springs.
Just amazing.
Hit that one up right after you're done swimming with the manatees.
When we were there swimming with the manatees, we got stuck in that guy's driveway, and that was kind of embarrassing.
Yeah.
Let's see. After that, we headed up the coast to the Emerald Coast. That was beautiful.
Gorgeous beaches. And then we headed up to Alabama, where our truck majorly broke down.
Minor break, major problems.
But luckily, we were staying at a really good friend's house, and she took such wonderful care of us while we were there. Thank you, Wanda.
We also got to visit the Sloth's Furnace at that time. Wow, old-time geek out. Major. Had a lot of fun there.
But while we were there, we found out that the cherry blossoms that we were planning to attend up in Washington, D.C. were 2 weeks earlier, so then that was followed by this crazy mad dash up to Washington, D.C.
And when we got there, it snowed on
It
us.
snowed! We thought we were going to make a whole winter without snow, but nope.
Well, visiting D.C. for the cherry blossoms and the Smithsonian's and everything we did there, that was a pretty awesome time as well.
Yeah, the cherry blossoms were just beautiful. And then after that, we went to Assateague Island out on the shores of Virginia, and we got to see the wild ponies, which is like my childhood dream come true.
Except it was windy and cold, and our slide broke while we were there.
Yes.
And then we went down to the Outer Banks and got to see the Wright Memorial and the Wright Museum. Amazing if you like aviation at all. That's really cool to see where they flew the first plane.
Then after that, we went back to North Carolina, which was awesome again. We made it up to an area that we hadn't visited the first time through, around the Nashville area, Beer City, USA.
While we were up there, we hiked Grandfather Mountain. We found that crashed plane up in the woods. That was kind of eerie.
After we were in Nashville, we drove over the mountains into Tennessee.
And we went to the Great Smoky Mountains where we saw the bears climb the tree right above the truck.
Oh my gosh.
That was cool.
That was magical.
Then we headed for Nashville.
But before that, we also hit that random little stop. It was the Bush's Beans Visitor Center, and we got our picture with Duke the Golden Retriever.
And saw the secret recipe. Nashville was a really neat town. We had a lot of fun there. We got to see some live music, of course. And
yep, my friend Hannah Bethel from high school.
And got to tour the town a little bit. We really enjoyed it there.
From Nashville, we headed up to Kentucky, where we stayed on a dairy farm.
We got to do some work and learn how cheese is made, which is really cool.
We found that miniature pony that we ended up saving with a really long toenail, so that was really awesome.
After that, we headed for the DRV and got to see where our house was made. We really enjoyed that tour, so thank you DRV for that.
So then after that, we headed up north into Michigan, our home state, and we visited a lot of friends and family in the Lower Peninsula. And then we went to the Upper Peninsula.
Yeah, with a boat. We double-towed up there, which was amazing, and then we used the boat to see the pictured rocks, which was a really cool experience.
You gotta see the pictured rocks from the water. And then we went over and spent a couple of weeks with my parents before we headed out west.
Well, our time in Michigan wasn't perfect. We did lose Bella that one time in Saginaw. We got her back. Facebook found her. Advertised on Facebook for a lost dog. Find her quickly. After Michigan, we headed west, and we pretty much drove across the northern U.S. out to Theodore Roosevelt National Park.
In North Dakota.
That was an amazing experience. Completely different terrain than everything we'd ever seen before. After that, we headed down towards Yellowstone. We stopped at Cody, Wyoming, and stayed at Buffalo Bill Reservoir.
Then we went into Yellowstone. What was your favorite part about Yellowstone?
I gotta say the geothermal features. I mean, you're standing on an active volcano. The hot springs and the geysers. How about you?
Oh, I liked seeing all the wildlife. Lots of bison, lots of elk. We even saw a grizzly bear. Then after Yellowstone, we went right down into Grand Teton National Park, which is just south of it. A fabulous campsite right in front of the mountains.
Probably one of the most beautiful, although it was so dry and the smoke rolled in eventually.
Yeah,
but
from wildfires.
before that, we had some great time hiking. After the Tetons, we headed down towards Idaho Falls then and met up with our factory rep for Anderson, and he showed us a heck of a good time.
He took us on a plane ride over the Grand Tetons.
Whitewater rafting down the Snake River.
And then even into ice caves in Idaho, which...
hard to explain.
Who knew?
Then we headed over to Craters of the Moon, which was just a totally different experience. Never done anything like that before.
After that, we headed back up north into Montana.
Then we made it to the Flathead Valley along Flathead Lake, stayed in Polson for a while. Beautiful place before heading up towards Glacier.
Glacier National Park was amazing.
I think that probably was my favorite so far. Just very northern and different, but the hiking there and the vistas. And our campsite while we were there, we stayed at the Hungry Horse Reservoir, was just spectacular.
Yeah, we've been really lucky with some of our camping spots.
I guess after Glacier, that almost brings us to here, although we did make that stop in Kalispell because we had more truck work to do.
Yeah, we basically had to rebuild the whole front end.
Luckily, we met up with our awesome guy who helped us out with using his garage to do that.
And now we're in Washington in apple season.
Oh my gosh,
Which is
we got
amazing.
a 10-pound box of Honey Crisps today for $10. And while we've been here, we did go down to the Hanford site, and along those same lines, we went to Oak Ridge in Tennessee, where they enriched the plutonium and uranium for the atomic bombs in World War II. Amazing experiences. And that brings us to here, and we are heading further west. We're almost to the coast. And it's just been an amazing ride. We hope you've enjoyed some of our highlights from this year. This is part of a multi-part series where we're going to talk about some of our learnings and share more information about our life from the past year on the road.
Thanks so much for watching. We really appreciate having you guys follow us along on this adventure. If you have a comment or question, please leave it below, and we hope to see you next time. Is all boo-boos.
1 year. And then...
We did it!